Well, when this truck was here last week, I didn't get a chance, 2 weeks ago, I didn't get a chance to make much of a video on it. Dave was doing the work on this thing. It's got a 5.4 liter Triton modular Ford V8. That's the notorious timing chain and phaser unit. Well, the guy supplied his own parts, and that's what we're on again. We're beating that customer supplied parts horse to death, and this will be the last car that I install customer supplied parts on for the duration of my career as a technician, mechanic, and or YouTube creator. We agreed to put their own parts in this thing, and they made it about 60 miles and the thing broke down on I-4, and the guy called me back and we coached him off the road, and he drove it to like an O'Reilly's or something, had him scan it, and I believe he told me before we even look it up on the scan tool, I believe the code was a P022, something about one of the camshafts being over advanced. Now, what that means, this has variable valve timing. It's got a set of phasers on each individual camshaft, and those phasers are the sprocket and the gear that the chain uses to turn the cams, okay? Now, in the cylinder heads, there is a electronic solenoid. It's basically an electronic valve that goes into the head that controls oil flow to that phaser. When commanded on and off, that phaser can change its clocked position, and it can advance or retard the camshaft to change the valve timing on the engine while it's running. So I believe that one of the phasers, which was a Ford part that was supplied, has failed because he had a code and it broke down. Let's start the engine, see what happens here. Yep, it started. It's running. It's got a misfire. Definitely feel a misfire in it. Let's go ahead and start pulling up some codes here. We can't see, there's too much glare. Give me a break here. Give me a break, there's sunlight. I need one today. Yeah, bear with me. I'm gonna nudge this thing into the shop, into the shade, and we're gonna evaluate. Oh yeah, it's running like Medusi. We're gonna evaluate the condition of this and find out what has failed and what has not failed. I believe one of the OEM Ford phasers that I learned after we installed it and after the car broke down was actually a couple of years old. The fella said it was sitting in his garage for quite some time. Regardless, I believe one of those old phasers has failed, which they are notorious for failures. That's one of the Achilles tendons, or Achilles heels on this particular engine. Anyway, let's go ahead and pull up our DTCs in the ECM and see what the code is. Again, I believe it's P002. Okay, scanner's done reading. We've got a 2005 Ford F-150 5.4 liter 3 valve. That's the Triton with 241,147 miles on the odometer. Very good. Now, I'd like to note that engine temperature is low, so this is the first time this vehicle has run since we saw it drive away, or at least it hasn't run, or since it has run in my possession since it drove away. Let's pull up engine and codes menu, please. Let's display these bad boys. Memory codes. What do we have here? Oh, wow, it's doing all kinds of stuff. P0010, intake cam position, ACT circuit, open bank 1. P011, intake cam position, over advanced bank 1. P022, intake cam position, over retard bank 2. What is this? System lean 171, 175, lean bank 2. P300, misfire detected. P305, misfire detected on cylinder 5. P307, misfire on 7, misfire on 8, misfire on startup. P1000, OBD checks incomplete. And 2198, O2 sensor stuck, rich, bank 2. Get out of here. That's not what I understood earlier. Let's pop the hood and take a look. See what's going on here. Powering down. Okay, well, it looks pretty good. Okay, let's do a quick visual inspection here and make sure nothing has catastrophically failed. It's all looking pretty good. That's plugged in. That's one of the solenoids I mentioned. The other solenoid over here on bank 2, that's under, yeah, it's down under that bracket there. That appeared to have been plugged in. It looks plugged in from here. See it right there? Let's see. That's connected. We're all connected. Coils are connected. Injectors are connected. This is what you do every time something revisits you with an issue. Cam sensor is connected down there. See that one? We recheck your work visually. Document it. That way your T's are crossed and your I's are crossed and dotted and crossed at the same time, all that good stuff. That guy's connected. The other cam sensor on this engine. Okay, so externally everything's looking good here. Let's fire this thing up and see what it sounds like. Sure. Let's see here. Definitely a misfire. See that thing shaking? Shaky, shaky, shaky. You can tell down here, look at that. She has much vibration. Take a look down below. We're not leaking anybody, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, that hose is definitely showing us our shaky shake. All right, so an external inspection has not given us information, given us any information. Let us do an internal inspection as best we can until we have to tear this thing down. I'm gonna go in there with Mrs. Jiggles, the borescope on a stick. Take a look in the hole and see if we can't see the timing chains. Ray, what are you talking about? What's this Mrs. Jiggles? Well, that's my borescope camera right here. Let's power it up. I call it Mrs. Jiggles because Eric O has one of these that's similar. It's got this little wheel on it for the camera end, and you can wiggle the end of it. He calls his Mr. Wiggles, so we're calling this one here Mrs. Jiggles. I think it's kind of cute. Anyway, we're gonna take this borescope camera, we're gonna feed it down into this oil hole right here, the oil fill cap, and we're gonna take a look at the chains and phasers. If we can't see what we can try to see here. I wish I were technologically advanced enough to, I see you, to figure out how to just project this screen onto the YouTube without recording the screen, but it's not so doable. Anyway, what we're looking at right here in front of us, that is the actual cam gear / phaser right there. See that this little guy right here? That is the trigger mechanism that the sensor picks up on so it knows camshaft timing. So let's see, we're gonna put this in, we're gonna turn it to the right a little bit, see if we can't get a glimpse of the chain. Yep, there's the chain. So the chain is attached, so nothing catastrophically broke on this side. I'm pretty certain the chain is attached on both sides. There's no reason for that chain to break off. Go in a little deeper here, let's see if I can't see one of the tensioners. Yeah, there it is. No, that's one of the chain guides right there, which I can't. I'm trying to move this camera in a little deeper. It doesn't want to go. That's why I like the wiggle action. We can drive it around corners. Here we go. Now we're going down to the bottom of the motor. Let's see what's down here. More chain. That might be as far as we go. I can't shove this thing in any further. Yeah, it's bottomed out. Okay. So the chain and the phaser are here, it's intact. The other side, we don't have an oil fill cap on this side, so I cannot visually take a look at that one. So let's run back into the cabin, recheck the scan tool, and let's look at some VBT data. Let's put that cap back. Let me help you get a better visualization of what we were looking at just now. So we've got the solenoid here. That plugs in and goes into one of the main caps on the front of the camshaft. Right here, that's our sprocket. That's the unit in question. Now, these are not the exact components that came out of that truck. These came out of a 2010. It's a different one. And that right there is our tensioner device right there. That runs off of a guide, or pushes against a guide, which helps to keep tension on the chain while the engine's running. So the ECM will command this valve open. It will allow oil flow into the camshaft, which will then pressurize inside of this unit right here, and it will change the clocking of the sprocket area relative to the center area here, and that's what changes the orientation of the camshaft relative to the crankshaft. Okay. Let's fire this thing up and pull up some engine data. Ugh, runs like Badusi. All right, scrolling down here, variable cam timing data. That's what we're looking for. Proceeding. Okay, engine RPM. Here we go. VCT advance 1, 48 degrees. Number 2, negative 52 degrees. So the number 2 camshaft is fully retarded. It is as negative as it can go. I wonder if I can command this thing to actuate. Functional tests. No, I don't think so. No, it's not going to let me do it. I'm really not interested in doing it because it should not be full retarded whatsoever during idle right here. So it's mechanically, it is mechanically failing. The cam is mechanically retarded. So one side is advancing because the ECM knows, hey, we've got a correlation problem here. So it's advancing the one side. The other side is stuck retarded, so it cannot advance any further. It's stuck in limbo. So what we need to do, I think, is pull the valve cover off of that and prove that the part has physically failed. Powering down. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna nose this in on the rack. We're gonna do that. Restarting Z engine again. Go. It's got no power. No beans. No beans. So as always, the best place to start is beginning. Let's get this intake tube off. 1 bolt, couple grommets. Pick it up, pop it off, slide it out. We need to get this power steering reservoir out of the way. It's got this big huge bracket thing that kind of covers the valve cover. There's a bolt on the bottom. I've already taken the liberty of removing it. So you guys just get to see the top bolt. So. Okay, that guy's out of the way-ish. I'm going to pull this reservoir off the bracket and get rid of the bracket entirely. That's a lot of bracket and it's definitely in the way. Continuing disassembly. That's a bit much, isn't it? Just for a few ounces of power steering fluid. Pull that guy off. We got a, let's see, little radio noise suppressing electronic device here. Maybe I'll just disconnect that. Oh, no I won't. Go in there with a little pick. Woo! I almost stabbed myself. Seriously? I did not want to become disconnected. Cam position sensor. Yeah, as those little fingers on the sprockets rotate around past that sensor, that's what picks up the signal. So the ECM knows where the camshaft is. Disconnect that guy. This PCV hose. Set that up here. Very good. Coils and injectors. We're gonna get through this quick, everybody, because we got to get to the good stuff under the cover. Good to you. Vacuum hose, goodbye. we had to replace the valve covers because the bolts that bolt down the coils were over tightened at one point, and the bung broke off. It's a very thin hole area. That thing busted right off. Actually came in broken off. We called the guy, he ordered his own valve covers, which is fine because that was the nature of the job. Okay, so pull this vacuum hose off the stud over here. Come off. Come off now. It's not coming off. I could have, but my arm doesn't have the strength. And I'm still doing the at-home PT to get my arm to heal up. I have nerve impingement. Oh, come off of there, you flipping thing. It's not coming off. Why? And pry bar. There, that was easy. Just had to flex it a little bit. Next up, we'll get the 4 ignition coil bolts removed. See how not tight that was? That's how it's supposed to be. That last one's a little buried. I'll get you, my pretty. Last one. Ow! Ah, got it. Okay. There's a leaf. I got there quick. Come here, leaf. It's those live oaks in Florida. That's not a leaf, that's paper. Looked like a leaf. Next, we're gonna pull all the bolts off the valve cover around the perimeter, and then we can maneuver this cover out. Way out back, and the hard ones are back there. And I think that's the last one way out back. I cannot reach. Oh yeah, now need an extension. We took off an extension. I need a shorter extension. Put that little 1-inch on there. Come on, reach. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Come on. I'm gonna get it. 3rd time's a charm, yeah? I'm gonna get it. 4th time's a charm. A. There we go. Okay. Woo. Aha, I see you. Okay, cover's off. Nice and shiny in there. All right, approximately an hour and some change later, I went ahead and dug out the other valve cover on this side. This one's not fun. I had to pull the fender well out of it. Remove the dipstick tube for the transmission, all kinds of other stuff. But I've got this one out, and we can see we've got a new phaser in there. The chain is intact. There's the solenoid. Now, one of these is the one I put in, and one of these is the one that the guy gave me. I could not source a Ford part when I realized he had only supplied the one, so I bought a Coils or Cloys or whoever. It's a name brand part. I trust them, just like Melling. That's what I put in it. And the guy seems to think that my aftermarket Cloys part failed. I don't think it did. I think that the phaser failed. I'm not sure which one of these is which. We'd have to check part numbers to make sure. One's a Ford part and one's somebody else's part. Let's see. Oh, I know how we're gonna test this phaser. Where's my vice grips? Watch this here. Here's what we're gonna do. So with the crank in a stationary position, chain's intact, we're gonna take these vice grips here, and I'm gonna attach these vice grips to probably the camshaft right there. And we're gonna advance this camshaft, see if it turns independent of the chain. Forgive the towel. I smashed my hand a second ago and I'm writhing in agony. Look at that. It's internal bleeding, super swollen. I went to move this light right here and I pulled back on the light and somehow, I guess I had it like this. Yeah, it did that. And then this part right here snapped on my hand. So anyway, now that we got this light thing situated, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna rotate this camshaft, and I believe that the camshaft is going to turn independent of the sprocket. So if this is the number 2, this is the one that gave us the full retarded code. So retarded is gonna be camshaft this way. The engine is gonna spin clockwise from our vantage point. The tension side of the chain is this side, and the loose side is, I believe, that side over there. That's where the tensioner is. So that's the slack side of the chain. So I'm going to advance this camshaft and we should see this thing turn if my guesstimation is accurate regarding the failure mode. Let's see what it does. Look at that. Yep. See, the cam turned, but it's stuck. There you go. Cam turned, but the sprocket did not. It's not how that works. Back up. Ooh, it's stuck again. Yeah, it's locked in position now. Yep. Found it. We have a phaser problem. It's a failed phaser sprocket. Yep. So we need to do the job again. This has to come off and we need to replace it with another Ford phaser. Oh, I'm so glad I just caught that on film, because now this phaser's, it's locked into the advanced position where it should be. That's how it should be doing. And we saw it, we found this thing locked in full retard position. You can even tell if you look back on the footage that this little tang for the sensor started here, and now it's locked in over here in this position. So now it's stuck advanced. Yeah, we've got a bad part right out of the box. But now, this is where the sticky situation part comes in. Who's responsible for this? Are you?
No.
Why not? You sounded so innocent, like you were in trouble. You're like, no. Yeah, who's responsible for this? Am I responsible for this?
No.
It's not my part. I don't think Lauren is. Is the customer? I guess we're gonna have to figure that out. Now, just to make sure I'm not just blowing some smoke here for you guys, let's go do the same type of test over here on this other side. This one is slightly different. I'm afraid of this now because I don't have really any space to get a tool onto this cam unless I put a tool on the cam lobes, and that would destroy the camshaft. So what I shall do, we're gonna pull off this cap right here, and we're gonna check it for some clearance. Wrong direction. If I pull this cap off, I should be able to get the tool on a non-critical surface. There's critical surfaces and then there's non-critical surfaces. I would consider a non-critical surface one that does not rely on bearing and oil clearances. Speaking of bearing clearances, that's nice and clean in there. No oil pressure starvation event occurred. Okay, so let's see. We have a non-critical surface right here. Yep, right there. We're gonna connect to that area, just like the other side. and attempt to repeat that process. Let's move this AC line out of the way. Yeah, I had to discharge the AC just to get here. Gravity. Clipped on. Let's see if this guy's gonna turn. Nope. In the other direction. Nope. Yeah, nope. We're good. So that's what it's supposed to be doing, not moving around all willy-nilly like. That phaser failed 60 miles after it left the shop. So now we have to call a customer, let him know his phaser failed, and offer him, I guess, some solutions. What do you think?
Yes.
Sound good? Let's do it.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. I think that's going to be enough for this particular video. I think I covered all the bases, dotted all my T's, and crossed all my I's. We've confirmed that that part is the failed part, not the solenoid, not the wiring harness, not the oil pan, not the oil pump, not the timing chains, not our craftsmanship or workmanship. It was a simple failed component. So let me know what you guys think about this here scenario in the comment section down below. What would you do if this was your car and you bought the parts and then it had a failure immediately afterwards? Would you be super upset with the shop, or would you take responsibility for your decisions and then go from there? Let me know in the comment section down below. See you guys later in a video, in a day, in a Ford F-150 again, into failed junk parts right out of the box in the transmission.